We are live. People are
Live,
rolling in,
live,
Scott.
live.
Here we go in a new studio. It's exciting.
Live from Chicago.
We're here. If you've been following along on this journey, you know we've been talking about it, and I'm here. So you might see the background start to change a little bit, but we're working on it. It looks pretty good.
It looks
I like
great.
it.
It looks great.
Yeah.
So, for those of you joining us, Stephanie is now working remotely from Chicago with the Travify team. So, super exciting. But this is Stephanie's very first
It
Travify
is.
webinar from Chicago.
It is. It's so exciting. I had a little bit of nerves before this, though. I was like, oh, please, please, everything. It's the first one getting this place set for
Oh, yeah.
success.
Well, looks good. Glad you made it safely. If you're joining in the webinar, let's do our normal routine while you're jumping in here. In the chat, post where you are joining the webinar from. We'd love to hear where everyone's scattered about in the country and the world. So
Yeah. I see Alabama. That was the first. New Orleans, Chicago, St. Louis, Brooklyn.
Little Rock, Detroit, New Orleans, Oxford, Mississippi, Texas, CNY.
There's
Now, Donna, this is a really dumb question. What is CNY? Because I'm guessing that's an airport code and I don't know which it is.
Yeah.
Scotland, Brian, thank you for joining in.
Oh,
Scotland,
Scotland.
Moses
Love.
from Cambridge in the UK. Awesome, awesome. Sheila from New Brunswick.
Central
Olivia
New
from
York.
Nashville.
It's Central New
There we go.
York.
Thank you for clarifying that. Perfect.
Mm-hmm. Whoa, Kenya.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
Malaysia.
Scott is tuning in from Puerto Vallarta, so a little jealous there.
Yeah, that is awesome.
So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that is. Oh, there's so many. Well, first of all, thank you for everyone joining this late evenings for some of you. I mean, I guess
Kenya's in definitely evening time. UK, they're probably having a beer. It's happy hour time.
5, 6 p.m. Oh, it's perfect. I hope you do have a drink in hand, ready to enjoy this webinar.
Absolutely.
No, it's so awesome. Well, thank you so much again, everyone, for joining us. It's so much fun doing this thing. Oh, Lisa just said the video looks pro. Yes. Oh, 7 p.m. in Kenya. Yes. So this is going to be fun, though. This webinar, I mean, every time we do a product webinar, it's just a great time because we get to show off Travify. We know there's so many of you who are already users and you always walk away with something. And that is our goal, is that you learn something on it. But if you've never used Travify before and this is kind of your intro into it, this is a really, really good webinar because we are focusing on core bread and butter building itineraries for custom trips. And we call it, FIT custom, but this can be used for anything. I mean, we do specialize webinars for like cruises and all inclusives, but what we're going to show you here today is pretty much all the same. You just, might be doing things a little differently, but it's a very good webinar to watch what's possible in building those trips with Travify. So super exciting there. But also before I get any further here, I don't think we introduced each other at the very beginning. I'm Stephanie. This is Scott.
And I'm Scott. So super excited to be here for the webinar. I always like to be Stephanie's wingman for all of these fun webinars.
Oh, yes. It's so helpful. Yeah. So Scott, feel free to chime in at any point if you have a little bit of commentary to add to
I will just butt in with colored commentary whenever I please.
Yes, please do. And I know he will be in there helping with questions as well. So there will be time at the end for Q&A. So feel free to put those questions in. I bet we'll have quite a bit on these because these ones always have lots of questions. We'll do one thing and you're like, wait, how'd you do that? How do you do this? So definitely throw it in your questions and try to use that question panel. You can use the chat as well, but sometimes it's easier for us, aka really Scott too, to manage all those questions that come in. And hopefully we're able to answer them during this webinar. But if we're not, know that our support team is ready to go to answer those questions. So just send us an email at professional@travify.com and we'll reply, or chat us in your account. You can live chat us in there too. But just FYI, so if for any reason you think of something afterwards, sure, that will come up, question will come up. Definitely reach out to our support team in there. And then the last thing too, Scott mentioned this already, but it is being recorded. So if you get a client call or you need to hop out, no worries. This being recorded. We'll put it on our YouTube channel after this, and you can watch it. So just give us like maybe an hour, maybe not even that long. We'll have it up pretty quick. So that way you can watch it today as well. But okay, so let me just share here really quick. What are we doing here today? So our outline for today's webinar is first, I'm going to do a really quick overview of Travify as a whole because there's so many features that Travify offers that we do not have time to go into because there's just so much stuff. So I'm going to do a really quick overview. So that way, if you are new to Travify, you can really see what else we have available for you to use as well. And then we're going to get into the fun part of creating that custom trip. And we're going to start it from start to finish. So you're going to see the whole process. And I'm going to add lots of different things. So that way you can see how different features work within Travify. And then also get, tons of tips and tricks along the way as well in there. And then we'll finish up with just looking to see what the client experience is. So we'll talk about that. And then you'll also be able to see the mobile app. So you'll see what they see and then, how they utilize that mobile app as well once they actually are on their trip. And then, of course, time at the end for Q&A as well. So
Now, a quick question before we jump in.
Yes.
Say I was a travel advisor and I wanted to be able to take a course on Travify and maybe achieve some type of certification. Does Travify have something like that?
It's funny you should ask that, Scott, because there is something in there. Okay, so we have this is just launched. I mean, a couple months, barely even. It's certification. So if you go to certification.travify.com, anybody can do this. You don't have to have a Travify account yet. So this is also a really great way to get deep into Travify to see everything that you can do in there and know what you're doing once you get in your subscription, your account. So you can go here to certification.travify.com. And I think Scott will drop that in the chat as well. So you can get that link. But we have 3 different courses. So we have one, which is Travify certification. So that's the main one is Travify certification. And then we also have advanced. So if you want to go the next level, advanced, which I feel like most people do. They do both of these because they're really easy. They'll just take maybe a few hours to do, nothing too crazy, but also nothing too easy. So you are really still learning, but it's also not like extremely, not like college degree level. That's a good thing. So it's fun. It's fun taking these. And then we also do have a CLIA certification. So if you're a CLIA member, you can take this one that says under the CLIA certification one. And this one is customized around like cruises, which is really great. So you can see how you can use Travify for that type of trip. And what's really great is that once you finish and get certified, you can send your certification into CLIA and you'll get a 5 credit to put towards your elective credits for your CLIA membership. It's pretty big, pretty awesome. So really
Awesome.
cool there.
Very, very cool.
It was a great question, Scott there.
Oh, and a quick clarification. Cassandra just asked a really good question on certification website. Do you use the same login credentials for the certification website as Travify? And the answer to that is no. It's actually a separate kind of micro site that we've set up specifically for certifications. So you'll have to create a new email and password to register for that certification website. So more of just a heads up with that to be aware of.
Yep, exactly. So when you get in here, you'll be able to log in and just register for an account. And then that's registering for a brand new account. So very good question. So that's awesome. Well, and good pivot to this because in the certification, you'll learn about all of the tools in Travify. So that's also why we really want to recommend you checking that out. Because again, it's completely free to do. But what's great is you're going to learn about everything. So even though today we're focusing on itinerary building, we have many more other things that are built into Travify, and it's all part of your subscription. So we also have proposals, so where you can build proposals. And I'll show you a little bit about that. I'm going to spend about a minute just showing you that today. So that way you can see the difference. It's very similar as if you were to build, a normal itinerary. It's just the difference is the workflow for your client, where your client can actually approve it and they go through a special workflow to do it. So that's really cool. We also released what we call the Simple CRM, and that's for client management. So it's a place where you can keep your client contact details. So, your different email addresses, phone numbers, if you want to include documents, images, you can keep all of that in one place, and that is in contacts. Um, Also built kind of into contacts is forms. So forms is just like what it is. It's an ability to create a form to collect any type of information, whether it's new traveler inquiry form or like a group trip. If you need to create a waiver form, you can use that in build or build your own in Travify and use that. The great thing is too is there's also credit card authorization, which is awesome. So it is PCI compliant. So you can also use the forms for credit card authorization and e-signatures. So really awesome there. And then the last thing is websites. And I'm actually going to touch on this very quickly at the end, because websites is a ability that you can use this for marketing. So I mean, what I'm telling you, there's so many things in Travify that can help with your business, and marketing is one of them. And a lot of people don't realize that there's website builder built in there, and you can also use it to create landing pages. So if you already have a website, that's okay. You can still use this just to market specific trips, or like a promotion, whatever it might be. So there's so much you can do in there. And again, we do have videos and webinars just for these specific features or these tools, that you can always access at travify.com/support. But feel free to ask those questions too, because we might have time at the end to go into those, if we do as well. So feel free to ask. Um, but with all of that being said, I am ready for the fun part of this webinar, which what we're focusing on is those itineraries. So again, what we're going to do today is we are going to do it from start to finish. So what I'm going to do is pretty much what you're doing. You just might have different types of events you're adding, different destinations. But I do want to mention again that I'm going to be using an example of Italy. So I'm going to do an Italy trip, but keep in mind that you can do this for anything. So, any destination, or if it's a river cruise and you're adding a river cruise and other information, or all inclusive resort, no matter what it is, this is exactly the same way you would use it. You just might not be doing everything as custom as I am. I'll show you though along the way how you would add those types of items. But with all that being said, I'm going to create a new trip here. So we're going to get started here. So the first thing you would do is when you're in your account, you want to go ahead, and this is what you'll see, by the way, when you first log in, you'll see the trips you're working on, and then you're just going to click new trip. So from here, you'll be able to choose, is this an itinerary or a proposal? Now, I'm going to tell you, this is where I'm going to spend that minute just explaining proposal. You can choose either one. So if I'm going to choose itinerary for this case, but if this was a proposal, you were still going to put everything in there, but your client hasn't approved everything yet, you can choose it as proposal. And in the builder itself, it'll look the exact same. But the difference is how your client sees it. So your client will see it by if you click this preview. So we're just going to look at it like the client would see. See up at the top how it has this approve button? That's going to be your difference. So if this were built as a normal itinerary, it would have the option for your client to get the mobile app or download a PDF version of this, where the proposal is literally letting them approve it. So that's the difference. Now, if you ever choose the wrong one, it is okay. That's why I don't like to stress it too much, because if you choose one of these and you meant the other, you can switch it. So you can just click on that trip and then just change the type. So you can go ahead and just choose, itinerary proposal, and it just flips it back and forth. So you're not locked into whichever one you chose. So that's pretty much the big high level difference of those two. But now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select itinerary, because we'll say this is already booked. I might add some ideas in here for my client that we still could add on to their trip. But for the most part, this trip is booked. So here's where I'm at now. I am in a brand new trip. So this is that builder that I was mentioning. So the trip builder. And in here, there's a few things I always tell users to do first when you're getting started with a new trip, whether it's proposal or itinerary. And that's getting the basic information in here. So I'm going to add like in the name and the trip start date. So to do that, I'm just going to go into settings. So I'm going to click settings here. Now I'm going to go ahead and give a trip name. I'm just going to call it the Smith family vacation, and then I'll say Italy. I am going to have a start date. If you don't know a trip start date, you can actually leave that blank. Travify is pretty flexible with all of that, where you can leave it blank and come in and fill that out later. You also could add that pricing if this was a proposal or a quote in there as well. But I'm going to leave it blank for now. And I'm just going to go ahead and say save changes. And now we have that name and the date that it's starting. The last thing that I do want to add though is I want to change this cover photo to reflect where they're actually traveling to. So you can do that by just clicking this change cover photo button. And what you can do, you have many different ways to add photos, which we'll continuously talk about during this webinar, but you could use free stock photos. So Travify has thousands of free stock photos you can use. You could also upload your own if you want, but I always like to use just the stock photos for the cover photo. Because if you just put like a generic, name like beach or Italy, or you could even do Rome or Venice, just keep it just to the destination name, and you'll have options of really beautiful, high quality photos. So I'm just going to go ahead and select this one and say save changes. And now we have a photo actually just reflecting where this trip is headed to. So there. So now we have it set up. So now, for probably the most important part, is how do we add events to this? How do we add items to this trip? Well, the most important thing of knowing with Travify is just how to add those events. It's very simple. You just first make sure you're in the day that you want to add that event, whether it's a tour or a flight or a hotel, and then just click the new event button. Click new event, choose what type of event it is, and then you'll be able to add it. Now, there's going to be many different ways you can add events, and that's what we're going to walk through here today. You can add things manually, you can pull things from a database. We have integrations available. There's so many ways. So I'm going to show you a lot of those ways here today. But for the first event is the flight. The flight is typically your first one. So I'm going to add that one first. So how I'm going to do that is I am going to, again, click that new event button and then choose flight. So I'm going to choose flight. Now, here's one of my favorite things ever is the ability to just look up a flight. It is so easy. Now, if you do have a booking confirmation, you can always send it in. But I always recommend just looking it up. It's super quick and easy. You can add it manually if you want to. But watch how fast this is. I'm just going to type in the airline and the flight number, click get info. There's the flight that I want. Say add to itinerary. Bam, look at that. We have our flight, and it even knows intuitively the time to go into the next day. The other great thing about this is we are tracking this flight. So when you see this green check mark, that means that we are currently tracking the flight. So if there's time change, it gets delayed, there's a gate change, it'll automatically update in here in your Travify account for both you and your client to see. So super awesome that way, knowing that, Travify can share it with you and your client when things are changing. The other thing too is if you need to add any additional information like seat assignments, or if you want to attach anything or add any notes, you could do that. You can just manually just click into edit and you can add into these form fields here. So really easy to do to add all that information. But otherwise, you can see, really easy way just to go ahead and pull in those flights for your clients, and it's tracking. So it's a great thing. Now, the next type of event that I want to walk through adding is a hotel. So every itinerary is pretty much going to have a hotel or a resort or some type of accommodation. So I'm going to go ahead and add this by just clicking new event again. And you'll notice too, I'm in the other day. So I'm in Saturday now because that's when they actually get there. So I'm going to go ahead and click new event. I'm going to choose lodging. So I'm going to choose this option. Now, you could add this manually. You can add it manually if you want, but you can look it up a little bit, just like I did with the flight, where I just start typing it in and Travify's searching for it for me. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to type in the name of this hotel here and what this is doing. And you can see how it's starting to look for it. Well, I want the Rome one, so there it is. But what it's doing is it's using Google Places, so that's how it's finding this. And I like doing it this way because when you click on that place, you're going to get like a photo, you're going to get address, the URL, phone number, which you can manually edit. So you can edit all that information, but it's really nice just to get it right away. So you don't have to manually input it all. And then I'm also going to go ahead and select the when they check out. And I'm doing that because it's going to add 2 events. So notice here how it added my check-in, and then I also have my check-out. Those are 2 separate events because they're different days, and you might have different information for those different times. So that's why we put them in separate days like that. But it also builds out those days for me in between. So now you can start working off of those days. So it makes it easy. Now, for this hotel, I could leave it just like this. But if you've watched us on any other webinar, you're going to know really quick that we like to add information because that is what makes this beautiful for your client. And this is what's going to make your client be like, oh my God, this is so amazing what you just put together. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in to edit this event. And I'm going to just do some really quick things. So, you're going to see how quick and easy this is. So, first, I want to go ahead and I want to add a little bit of information about this hotel. So I literally just went to the hotel's website and I just copy and pasted this. Now, you might want to put in this note section like you're going to love this, but maybe a personal message like you're going to love this place. This is why I think you'll like it. It has great things for the family, whatever it might be, or check out the coffee shop. You can put all of that in here. So this note section is really great for that, where you can put just any information. There's lots of formatting options as well. If you want to like bold text, highlight text, add links in here, you can do that. One thing that I love showing off is the ability to add tables. And here's going to be a hot tip in here. So, hot tip alert is if you ever want to add something like if this is a proposal and you want to add different room options, or if this is a family in different rooms and you want to put, all of their room information in one place and make it look organized, I would recommend tables. Now, how that works is in this note section, there's this insert table. It's really small, probably for you, but it's this insert table button. And I can choose how many I want to add, and I can just go ahead and select, and you can add more as you're going as well. But it's really great because you can put like table option number 1, and then you can just label this out how you want. So again, if we were doing like pricing, you could put that type of information in. You could again bold it, highlight it, add links in here. I mean, there's so much to do. It's really cool. So I always love that table, and you can see here what it looks like. See how it just looks just organized and nice. So really cool option in there when you do need to add something in there that would benefit from the table. So always like showing that off there. My next favorite thing to show off is adding photos. Photos and videos, always recommend adding because it's very quick and easy to do. Doesn't take you much time, and it will just elevate this itinerary for your client. So we're going to add some photos, and we're going to add one video together so that you can see how this works. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my multimedia section. So right here in this event, and again, this is the hotel. So I'm going to click on in there. Now you'll notice that those pictures are in here again. So we have those, stock photos we can use. If you have your own photos, you can upload those. But one thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull photos from a website. So I went ahead and I copied already the website for this hotel. And I went specifically to, you might need to go to their page that has the photos. So you might just want to navigate to where the photos are actually living. And then paste that in and then click Get Images. And look at what happens. Travify is going to scrape that site and try to find photos. So we're going to see all these photos in here that we can use. Now I can go ahead and just select, you can add up to 5 images in here. And I'm just going to select a few here. So let's just add, I'm going to add 4 because I want to save 1 spot for a video. So I'm going to add those photos, and I'm just going to click Save Changes. Now we have these beautiful photos in there. And when your client's viewing this, which you'll see later on at the end, you can actually click on a photo and it'll expand and you can view it. And it's just really amazing. And then to add that video, like I was mentioning, same thing as I did with the photos, where you just click in the multimedia section and then click the video option. So you're going to click video, and then I am literally just copying and pasting a YouTube link in here. Now, this is going to be your public videos, so your YouTube or Vimeo. And one thing I like to mention about this too is hotels normally will have videos. So it's really easy to go find one. Or if you've made your own video, this is a great place to add that too. But like I just pulled this from the hotel. So I can go ahead, I'm going to move this video to the front so that way my client clicks on that one first. And we have that. Now we have these photos and videos just quickly added in there. And think about how much value this just added for your client to look at and get really excited about this trip. So I'll walk through the videos and photos again in another event because it's seriously a game changer being able to add those. Now, you know what else is a game changer? Being able to save this. So you can see that I'm adding this stuff pretty quickly. I'm adding it manually, but it's really quick. However, what if, if I have another client who goes to this hotel, it doesn't really make as much sense to recreate all this again. So that's why we have what's called the library. Now, the library allows you to save information into your own account to reuse over and over again. So this hotel that I just created and I added the photos, the videos, the information, this would be a really smart one to save again because there's nothing really in here that's specific to this client. So I can just go ahead and save it by going in like I'm going in to edit this event and then click those little three dots at the bottom and click save to library. And you can add labels. So labels are a way to keep it organized. But all you do is click save to library. So now, when I'm creating a new trip or a new proposal, I can come over here on the right-hand side, and this is where my library is living. I can search for it and then just drag and drop it in when I need it. So it is really incredible. Another thing that's also really helpful about the libraries is we recently released the ability to say or to share library items. So if you work within an agency and you have other agents who have built up their library, or even just colleagues, there's groups on Facebook where you can literally get libraries shared to you that other people have created. So it's really awesome. So if you're looking for ways to, build that up and, organize it, we have a lot of resources for you to do that. So highly recommend that. Library, again, huge game changer. It'll start helping you add things very quickly and also prepare yourself that when someone comes to you for a quote idea, you can just grab it in really quick. So really awesome there. And just to show you how the library works, I'm actually going to pull a transfer. So I didn't add a transfer in between these two events. So I'm going to go ahead and add that. So I'm just going to type in transfer because I have a couple of them saved in my library already. And I'm just going to go ahead and use this private ground transfer right here. So I'm just going to add that in. Now, I kept this really generic on purpose because I knew I was saving it to my library. So if I needed to go in and add like the confirmation for this specific client, or again, add those voucher or like a document with the information, you can attach that all in there. And super easy, very simple. So just so you can see how that works in there. But now we talked about adding flights and hotels and pulling from the library, but I also just want to spend a little bit of time showing you how to create custom events because especially for these FITs and custom trips, that is going to be something that is probably really likely that you will add. So I want to show you how to do that. So the first event, the first one that I want to add here is just a private food tour. So it's just a tour in here. So I'm going to go into the day that this tour will take place. So I'm going to say it's going to be on July 4th here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click new event, and then I'm going to choose activity. So I know that there's a tour option here, but the tour option is actually for our tour supplier database, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. But I'm actually going to choose activity. And now what I can do is I can just fill this out. So I could start off, saying like it's subcategories, it's food and drink because it's actually a private food tour. So that way I have that little food icon there. So I'm just going to type in the title of private food tour. Of course, I want to add some notes in here. So I'm just going to quickly copy and paste notes. And again, I just pulled this from the supplier's website, just pulling it directly from there, really easy. And again, you could add those links if you wanted. Actually, I didn't have this in my outline, but I'm going to tell you another hot tip here is the ability. Let's say that this wasn't booked quite yet. And maybe you're just putting options in there like, hey, you have a free day. I'm just going to throw in a couple options for you to do. What you could do is you could put this like private food tour. And if you have an affiliate link to the supplier's website where you don't have to book it for them, but if your client books it, they should use your link. So that way you get a commission off of it. All you have to do if you have a scenario like that is just attach the link in here. So I can just say like book here. And then I'm going to say insert link. And I'm just going to put Travify in here just to link something. Click insert. I could bold it. I could highlight it just to make it look kind of like a button. And then that way, now when your client is viewing this trip, you're like, hey, I just gave you some options for ideas, but if you want to book it, go ahead and click that link to book it. Then you get a kickback commission. I mean, it's just really cool. It's amazing that you can do things like that. So just wanted to throw that tip in there. Now, if it was already booked, you can, of course, add those confirmations, add the documents if you have. I also can add additional information, like let's say I want to put what time it starts. It's 3 hours in length duration. Again, I want to add photos because again, if you can add a photo, it just really, really makes it look really pretty. Just adds a lot to it. So I just went ahead and dropped in again the link to the supplier website. And I'm just going to add some of these in. I'll just add a few photos, say save changes. Again, simple as that, really easy. And then just say done editing. And there we have a tour. Now I know I went through that one really fast, but as you can see, I mean it's really quick and easy. Just again, just add that information in there. And I just saw something come through and since I'm on it, I'll say if you want to put like the meeting place for it, just put that in the notes section. Just say like meeting point you know X. I'll just put just X and pretend like you can put that. And so that's what's so great about this is everything's custom. So you can include any information you need in here, which is just really great. Now, I want to add one more tour and I'm just going to pull it from the library. So I'm going to just add this right in the next day. I'm going to use my library again so you can see it in action. But this is a Coliseum tour. So I already know this it lives in my library because this is super popular. So I always keep it in there. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on it. And there it is. So you can see I've already added this. If I wanted to, I could go in, add more information. I could add pricing, things like that. And whatever I add in the trip itself won't overwrite or edit what's already in the library. So that's what's really great too. So you can customize it to that specific client's need. So just showing you that. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about here is you can see how you can manually add things, but I also want to spend a few minutes just showing you all the different ways that Travify already has information that you can pull in. So we do have integrated with honestly, there's thousands of suppliers integrated in Travify because if you look at like how I added that flight, if you were to add, those river cruises or ocean cruises, very similar, where you're literally just clicking on the cruise option, selecting what it is, what cruise ship, and then getting that information and pulling all that information in. Same thing with tours. We do have a database of tour information. And to access that, you'll just click the new event, choose tour, and then all the tour lines. So again, there's a lot of tour lines in here, but I do like to note that these are going to be your like group package tours. So if I went to like Abercrombie and Kent, for example, actually that one's not coming in with things currently because it's looking for them on that date as well. But you'll just be able to click on these and then just get, those tours available and add them in. So really quick and easy. And then it just allows you to add it. So for example, you'll see this one right here. It'll tell you everything it's about to add. So it literally adds all of that into the days. So it builds the itinerary out for you. It's really cool. Really, really cool feature there. Um, Another one that we have is Viter, and I actually want to show you how this works because we get that a lot of how to use, the Viter integration, and it's super simple. And just to show you a little bit of how different suppliers can work in here, I'm going to add one. So I'm going to add it in July 6th here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that new event button, and then I'm going to choose tour, and then I'm going to choose Viter. Now, this is really important. So one thing is this will not appear to you until you turn on the Viter setting in your account. So how you do that, it's really easy. You do it once and then you never have to do it again. But you go into your main account page here, click on your name in the top right-hand corner, and then click account, and it'll be in your settings. So you're just going to turn it on. You're literally just going to check that box and you never have to check it again. So once you check that box, you will start seeing the Viter option appear for you. So let's go back in there and let's get this Viter going. So I'm going to type in Viter. Now, what I'm going to do is you just want to enter the product code. Now, the product code is really easy to get. Let me just go ahead and let me drop in the link of what I'm actually pulling in. So I'm going to pull in the Skip the Line Vatican tour. And what you want is, and again, I apologize, it's hard to see. We do have an FAQ on this, but you just want the last, what is it, like 6 digits or 6 characters of that URL, and that's going to be your code. And so if I go back there, I'm just going to enter the product code. Oop, let me get it again here. Just going to enter that in, click get itinerary. And again, you just confirm it. We always want you to confirm before you add it. And then watch what it does. Look at all this info. It's crazy. It just added all this and it even adds photos in there too. It's so cool. And this is a good example of what other suppliers will do. So they'll add information. And of course, you can come in here and edit this if you wanted. So if you didn't want, like, all this information, we can just leave out things. You can edit it, add your own photos, do whatever you want. You can put all that in there. But that's just an example of to show you how easy it is to add that. One last way that I'll share about adding, pulling from suppliers is we also have the option where we work with suppliers directly. So a lot of these ones are coming from a database. So it's just a big database of information that we're pulling from based off of what you need. But when you go to the booking option under new event, these are suppliers that we work directly with. So our system is speaking with its system and pulling in information. So that way you can pull in customized, personalized stuff for just your client instead of, just the basic group information. So let's say, for example, you have Classic Vacations or Expedia Tap, and all you need to do is just log in. So you just log in once with your credentials to that supplier, and then you'll be able to enter the booking number or the code, whatever it needs. And then it'll just pull everything in and add it into every day that's needed, all the information directly in there. So, really, really awesome stuff being able to add those in there. So, one other thing that I want to talk about is I also want to talk about another integration that's in Travify, which is destination content. So, we have destination content over 625 destinations worldwide that you can quickly pull in for. We always recommend this for especially FITs when they're going to different cities and you just want to drop in like, here's information about this place, here's some things to do, all that good stuff. You can use it for proposals, quotes as well. But how it works and how to access this is you just want to go over to where your library is housed. So on the right hand side here, and then right up at the top, click on city guides and then just type in the name of the city. So in this case, I want to do Rome because let's say on Sunday, they get in Saturday, but Sunday they don't have anything planned. So I'm just going to fill that day with a city guide. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop the entire guide in here. Now you're going to see what's going to happen, but what it's doing is it's adding all of these sections. So you can see, and that's why it takes a little bit of a couple seconds here to come in because there's a lot of sections and there's a lot of different information in here. So you don't have to have everything. You can pick and choose. So you could go ahead and say, you know what? This one they don't need. So you can delete it. Or if you just want to delete certain things out of here, or if you want to add your own, you can do that too. But it's just really cool. It's a super quick, easy way to add so much rich information and content to a trip. As you saw, took a few seconds. Really easy to do. Another little tip as well, especially for a lot of you who specialize in specific destinations, you can also create your own guide and save that to your library to use. To do that's very simple. You just click new event and click info, and then from here, just click the city guide option, and then you can start adding things in there. So it's really easy to do. And then, of course, save that to your library. So then that way you can reuse that information again. So always recommend that. And we have an FAQ on how to do that as well there too. Now, the last thing that I want to show before we actually view, what is this looking like for our clients is we always get the question of, okay, where do I add information like trip insurance, or if I want to add like COVID information, protocols, things like that. A really good spot to add that type of information is in the information and documents section up at the top. So, right above these days, you always have the option for the information documents. And this is just a good section, separate from the days where your clients can go get any other type of information you're including. So, like for this one, I'm going to do insurance. So, I'm just going to type in. I have this. I have this little boilerplate. Don't forget travel insurance thing. So I'll just add that in there, just to show you, example of what that is looking like. So great place to add that type of information in there. So now I know that was a lot, but we are done creating our itinerary. I mean, of course, some of you might have very long ones, a little longer than this, but I hope this gives you a good idea of, all the different ways that you can add information. But now here's the big one. What is this looking like for our client? So if you want to check it out, all you need to do is click the preview button at the top, and then you'll be able to see what this looks like for your clients. So you can see, I can view this on any screen, mobile, tablet, computer. And look, we can see that video. And this is really cool. This video literally stays in the same screen. So you can see that. You can see the photos. It's really awesome. And again, yeah, if you were looking at this on your phone, which is very likely, a lot of people use their mobile device, it'll still look really good on there. But once they receive this, you can literally just copy and paste this URL and send it to them. You can also just click the send button in the top right hand corner and then click email and then just send it directly to them from here. And then they'll basically just get an email that still takes them to this page, because this page is going to allow them to get a PDF copy. So if they want to download that option, they can. But then there's also the mobile app. Now, the mobile app is what I want to talk about here because the mobile app is incredible. It's a great option. Again, it's that wow factor for your clients of, well, I get to take this on the go with me, easily accessible. And the mobile app that they use is called Trip Plans, and it's really easy for them to get it. They just click on the app button at the top. Now, I'm on a computer, so it's going to say, hey, you need to go open this on your mobile device. But if they open it on their mobile device, it'll automatically take them to the the Google Play Store or the App Store to get it. But then it'll just sync up their trip. And this is what it'll look like. It'll have, the ability that they can tap into the days and see, are their flights on time, view those photos, view documents. Again, everything they can access in here, just like we saw on the URL version. They can also chat with you. So this is a way that you and your client can stay connected, which is really amazing tool. Just helps you, again, elevate, customer service. But if you have another way that you stay connected with clients, you can turn this off. This option is available to turn off in your trip settings as well. So you can choose that if you want. They also can make this available offline. So if they do want to turn it off, they can do that as well in there. So then that way, when they're not on using data or Wi-Fi, they can still access this trip. Now, one last thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to plug this in the chat because it's that important. Scott made this super cool or landing page for that you can use for yourself, but also send it to the travelers. Now, this link right here, you can send to your travelers, and it's going to tell them, first of all, why the app is awesome, why they should use it, why it's important, what features they can find on it. But then it's also going to walk them through how to get their trip on the app and get it on their phone. So it'll just walk them through. There's also a video that you can check out, but this is really helpful. I mean, again, this is just going to help you, showcase that customer support, like, hey, here, you should use this. Here's how you get it started. And here's why it's really great to use. So I always like to show off that as well, because it's really cool to have that option to just send it to your clients so they utilize it. Okay, so I know we're running close on time here, and I know there's so many questions. So I just want to quickly share one more thing. So I want to show you a little bonus here of marketing, because we have so many, as I mentioned at the very beginning, is we have ways that you can market yourself using Travify. And a lot of people don't think that, because you think, oh, itineraries for my clients, but there's more. So let's say, this itinerary, for example, that I created, I'm going to get the link here. And let's say this didn't have, so much, it wasn't personal information about a client. Maybe it was just more broad, and it was like for a promotion or an example itinerary of something that I would do for clients. So this would be a great thing to share as marketing on your social media. So it's really easy to do, because all you need is this link. This web link that Travify gives you is all you need to share. So what I did is I want to show you here how easy this is. I went ahead and I made a post already on the Travify's. So if you go to Travify's Facebook page, you'll see this in there. And you'll see this post that I made. And then when I drop in the link, see how it looks really nice. It has the photo and it has the name, all of that good stuff. And when I post this, it'll just automatically, show or they'll be able to click on that link to view the trip. See here. And then when they go to it, it will just take them to that trip. Pretty awesome. So you can do a lot of fun things with that. The other thing you can do, and I highly recommend checking out, I'll find the YouTube video and post it in this chat, but utilizing the website landing page builder as well. It's a really great idea, just a really fun way just to share, high level trip ideas. Because again, you don't want to show off everything and then they are like, oh, great, I have everything I need, I can go book it. We always recommend just keep it high level. You just want to show your clients what's possible, like what are things you do. Or maybe a lot of the things I've seen the users do is they'll create like a 1 day or a weekend itinerary. So it's a very short itinerary and it's free. So maybe they'll use it to collect emails with, or, something like that. There's a lot, endless possibilities. Or if you also want to share, like, here's something I booked for my clients, sharing those things there. So there's a lot you can do. And again, there's webinars specific to what you can do with marketing and sales in there as well. Okay, that was a lot. And Scott, I was trying so hard to leave room for questions. So it is time.
So for everyone joining the webinar, we've had this amazing experience over the last several months as everyone, the industry is kind of restarting. The webinars, we feel super lucky that we're seeing huge attendance and engagement with the webinars, and lots of fantastic questions. With that being said, everyone's asking really good questions. I'm going as fast as I can to go through and answer some of those. But having said that, with 10 minutes left, we won't be able to get to all of the questions. So I apologize in advance if we don't get to your question. If we don't, sign into your Travify account, just click the live chat button and feel free to fire that off to our support team. That's live 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time, business days. But then also you can just email professional@travify.com with that question. It goes to the same customer support inbox, so feel free to send off your question that way if we don't get it answered. With that being said, we can jump into some questions. And so quite a few questions around flight updates, Stephanie. So first off, for flights, can you add multiple segments of flights? And will the updates track if flights are canceled? Silly question because no one's canceling flights right. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
Everyone's
right?
canceling and messing with flights. So it's a horrible, terrible running joke of how many flights are being canceled and rescheduled. So with that being said, how do flight updates work, and can you add multiple segments?
Oh yeah, for sure you can add multiple segments because basically what you can do is just how I looked up here, just do the same thing of how I looked this one up. So I just typed in the airline and then I think it was 182. Yeah, it was. Now, one thing though that I would note is what you can do is you can just keep adding flights on here. So I could add another one that's like the next segment of that trip. But this specific flight actually falls into the next day. So we do find the flights based off of that day because there's the flight numbers obviously are the same each day, but they could be different. So that's why it's really important that since I know this flight is the next day, I just go into that day and then I just look it up again or look up what that flight would be. But then, so let me just like add another one, for example, see how those just start to build up. So that's all you'll do. So you'll just be able to build those up in there.
Awesome, awesome. So next question, Deborah asked, can you go through the drag and drop process with the library
Oh, yeah.
and maybe highlight some of the other parts of the builder that are
Mhm.
also drag and drop?
Yeah, so there's so much drag and drop in here. So if you do want to drag and drop from like the library, all you have to do is just click on the item, hold it, and then you'll see that see when this green box starts appearing. That's how you know that it's ready to be added in there. So then you can go ahead and just drop it. One little tip though is there's also if you don't want to drag and drop something from the library or like a city guide, it's really faint on your screen, but there's a plus icon on the far right that you can also just click that and it'll just add it for you as well. So you can do it that way as well in there. Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry.
You're going to continue.
So the other thing though is you were asking about also like the other ways drag and drops. What's really cool is if you ever need to move anything at all, pretty much you can drag and drop it. Like if this tour was actually going to go in a different day, I could go ahead and drag and drop it into a different day, just like that. Really easy to put back. Same thing with days. If you want to move, like they had tours planned on Wednesday, but now they want it to be Tuesday, just move it up a day. A lot of different things you can do, but you can also, if you go into a day and then up at the top, click those little three dots there, and you can also start to do. Oh, sorry, actually not that one. You do edit. You click edit, and you can rearrange them if you need as well that way too. Okay, that was it.
Awesome. Great work. Love it.
Yes.
So next question, Shelly asked, what if you put something on the wrong day? How do you actually update or make that change?
Oh yeah. So basically, what I just did is you literally just want to. The easiest way is just dragging and dropping it. Another thing you can do though is if you click in here on the day, you can also switch the day on here, and then it'll know to go to that day that you choose. But honestly, I would say dragging and dropping is probably just the quickest, easiest way to fix that.
Totally. Awesome. And Marianne asked, can I do the same import for Project Expedition as with Quieter?
Yes, it works a little differently, but it's super easy. So we love Project Expedition. We work directly with them. So how you would do that is you would click the new event and you wouldn't go to tour. Instead, you go to booking because we're working directly with them, which makes that a little different. And so you just want to go ahead and then type in Project Expedition, click on it. I'm already logged in, but you'll have to do like a token. We have FAQs on it. It's really easy to do to set up. And again, you just set yourself up one time and then you'll be able to come in and just enter the booking number. And then it intuitively will bring it all in and put it into the right days and all that good stuff.
Very good. And Tim asked, what app do I use as a travel advisor and what app does my client use?
So glad you asked this because I didn't say that. And I was like, oh no. So the Travify Pro app is what you will use. So if you already are a Travify user, where's my thing at? Here we go. If you're already a Travify user, download the Travify Pro app, and that's what it's called in the store, or in the apps that you'll want to download. And then that way you'll just be able to log in with your Travify credentials. You'll see all of your trips. Where the app that your clients use is called Trip Plans. And that app is different because it's only going to allow you to see what trips you've been invited to or shared with. So that's the difference. So your app will give you access to all the trips you've already created, where the Trip Plans app is more simple, just for your client to see just their stuff or just their trips.
Excellent. And Monica asked, are you able to reuse itineraries if you have a client working on a similar or going on a similar itinerary in the future? How would you do that?
Yes, absolutely. That's a really good question. So, you actually are able to always copy a trip. So we like to recommend this. So if you ever want to copy something or someone's interested in something you've already built, just go ahead and click on the trip when you're in your main account page, like I am, and then click copy. And that is literally it. You just click copy, it'll create a copied version of that trip. And then you'll be able to edit it. And of course, it doesn't edit what your original trip had. And then, yeah, and then you can just share that out. Another thing you can do is create like templates. So you can see you can use the library for events specifically. But if you want to create a template for an entire trip, you could do that and then just copy from it.
Gotcha. Perfect. And Pat asked, what is the price per month, or
Yes.
what subscription options are available?
Yes, that is a great question. Well, first of all, you can go to Travify.com to start a free 10-day trial. So that trial will give you access to everything. So you get to try before you buy. And again, we recommend just schedule like a demo, check out the weekly webinars, our videos, and just really to get the most out of your trial. But then you can choose to subscribe two different ways. You can subscribe monthly or annually. Monthly is $39 a month. And again, you have access to everything. So all of these features, all the tools, the website builder, contacts, forms, that's all part of this. There's nothing that's added on. Or if you do go annual, you'll save 20% automatically. So it's really great to do that. It makes it $31 a month. But if you want to start off monthly and you upgrade next month, you're like, I'm just going to go ahead and do annual. You can always upgrade in your account that way as well.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm answering questions while doing this. So
Oh, perfect.
thanks.
Multitask. Man, the ultimate question answer.
How, John asked, is there a way to delete unwanted trips?
Yes, there is. And I will show you this copied one. So if you want to delete, we've got to clean this up, keep it clean. All you want to do is click on the trip. And then over here on the right-hand side, click archive. So you want to archive it first. So you do have the option to archive it. So if you just need to get it out of your main trips list, but it actually was something you don't really want to delete, you can keep it archived. And then you'll see there's an archived folder here on your left-hand side. But once you archive it, we give you one more option where you can delete it. So that's kind of the nice thing is that it's not going to just be like gone poof. Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that. It'll go archive first and then you can choose to delete it.
Awesome. And Jody asked, is there a cost for our clients to use the mobile app?
That's a good question. So there is not. There's no cost at all for them. It's just part of your subscription. As long as your subscription is active, they'll be able to download those trips and see, or download the app and see all the trips that you've shared with them.
Awesome. And the last question that we have time
Yeah.
for from Vanessa, can an agency with multiple agents share libraries and itineraries?
Yes. Oh gosh, yes. So the easiest way to do that is to be a team. So you can be a team account. So basically it's where everybody has their own account. So just like I have, where I have my own account here. But if you're on a team, everybody can see each other's stuff. They can share the library, see the trips, and work together that way. Now I think I have a team in here. Let's see here. Oh, nope, I don't have a team, but this is where you would come to the team admin. So whoever wants to be the team admin of your agency or your team, they can choose to add and remove team members from their end. Now, the cool thing with having a team is you get a discount. So you still purchase a subscription for each team member, but you'll automatically get a discount. So it starts at 15%. And then as the team grows, that discount increases. So definitely reach out to our team if you're interested in that option too. So it's really easy. But then that way the team will share the library. So when I come in the library, I can see what other people have added so that I can use it. I can copy trips that other people have added, all those great ways. Now, if you're not on a team and you have separate Travify account subscriptions, you can still share things. You can share things with the library. So you can choose to, if you have some information in your library, you can choose to share that. I'll just show you here really quick. Like if Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah. So you'll just click the show, like Scott, he's ready. Just click the share button here, and then you can share that. And we have FAQs on that too, because there's a lot more to it.
And on that note,
Mhm.
in the chat, I just posted a link to our library sharing
Yeah.
page and gallery. And so on that page, you'll be able to see a video to walk you through how does library sharing work, but also we have some really amazing Travify users that offer to share some of their library items. So you
Yeah.
can check that out. I just posted that in the chat. Some highlights there. We have some amazing users that shared a whole collection of Mexico resorts that they built and put together. You can copy those to your library as well. Other things like Hawaii and Dominican Republic resorts, forms as well. So we got real examples of forms that Travify users have built in there so that you can see examples and you can copy all of those to your account and then make changes to them once you've copied them to your account to kind of adapt them in there. So those can be really, really helpful as you get started in Travify, or if you're just looking for ideas in there. But feel free to join some of the Travify groups on Facebook as well. Those are great to be able to check out and connect with other users and potentially share content.
Yeah, yeah, it's so cool. I love that page. One other thing too, that I'll share last thing here is if you ever want to share an entire trip too, you can do that as well. In your settings, if you just click save a copy, just choose that option. And then when you send this trip, just like you would for a client, just get that URL. If you send this to someone who has a Travify account, it'll automatically display that save copy button. And then they can just click on it and it'll save everything in there. So it's super awesome. I love that trick. But yeah, that was so many
Packed
things learned.
packed a lot into that 61 minutes.
I know.
So
Oh,
that was
so
fun.
good. I know. I knew
Uh,
this was going to be a good one.
so there were, and I apologize, there were lots of questions we didn't get to. Do please feel free to reach out to professional@travify.com or sign into your account. Just click the live chat option and send any of your questions in that way. And we're more than happy to connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much again, everyone. And I'll get this recording up on our YouTube channel as well, so you can check it out. But again, yeah, let us know questions and appreciate the time and always fun times. And thanks for joining, Scott. Appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Stephanie. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks,
All
everyone.
right. We'll see you. Have a good day.